Walter H., son of Thomas McDougall, was an expert horseman. He worked with many of the horses on the famous Morris Ranch. He loved the land and believed a man should earn his bread by the sweat of his brow, and that a man is only as good as his word. So he actually worked there as a boy and learned to work at the ranch. The end.
Isn't there a cemetery there too?
Yes, there is a cemetery there. We weren't able to get into the cemetery. There's a monument there to the Morris family in the cemetery.
There's none of our family that's...
I don't know of anybody.
How did McDougall end up at Morris Ranch? What did he do?
He was one of the ranch hands. So, when he was in the Army, he was a farrier of horseshoes on
When he got the blacksmith?
blacksmith. And that's one of the things that he did there.
Was this herd from around Refugio or Kingsville in that area?
I don't know, never said where they came from, but her maiden name is her married name is Billups, and her maiden name was Hurd, and so it could have been, she could have been from that area. H-E-A-R-D.
I think that's from.
Yeah.
Does anybody here live on the ranch, or anybody here own any part of the ranch?
I didn't find anybody, any family members.
They were just workers.
I don't think they had much money, they just got whatever they were paid for the work they did. And when the ranch was broken up, they didn't get any of the land or the money out of it. No, all they got was the honor of being there, and then they all moved to the little cities, to Harper, Mason, Fredericksburg, all around here.
My father homesteaded land in West Texas, and this is very interesting to me.
Oh, I think so too.
Of course, this was in about 1902.
Ira herd, does that ring a bell?
Ira,
Ira herd?
I'll look it up for you. Okay,
What are
that's
the years that the McDougalls lived on this ranch, from what to what?
okay, 1886, and the last one I know that left was 1907. So it could have been. It could have been.
That's great. Very good job.
Where do you find all this information on?
It was in the Fredericksburg Public Library, and to talk to the right librarian, she'll unlock the drawer and let you into all this stuff. They did it for me a couple of times this week. Her name was Mrs. Frances Billups. So Frances, I think, was the husband's name. But her maiden name was Hurd. So just the history lesson that I gained this week was great. I have a much greater appreciation for the family and the part that they played in Morris Ranch, because they were there and they were able to be a part of that historical piece. And if you go to the library and see how many articles, newspaper articles is what they have in the library, which tells a history. Each one is, about every 20 years or so they wrote another story on it, and so it became a really big a part of the history of this particular area. And when I started talking to the librarians about it, I asked them about Morris Ranch, and they said, "Oh, you mean the school?" And yes, the school's a part of it, but the librarians didn't even know the past history when it was really a ranch. And they just know because the school district was there until more recently, until 1960.
Is it incorporated town?
It was its own town for quite a while, until there was a little settlement called Morris Ranch. And then when Fredericksburg took over the school district, the Morris Ranch School District, it all became one together.
also saw my grandfather, William McDougall, had something to do with the farm in the area. I guess they had to raise feed and stuff for the horses. And maybe he was more involved in that part. I'm not positive about that.
Well, they did have the granary that they had. They ground their own flour, and they raised the feed for the horses. That was a part of it. And so they were their own community. They didn't rely on anybody else. They had a ladies' society that did Shakespearean plays. They had a PTA for the school district, for the schools, for the moms, and they had a big celebration on the 4th of July, and all the families would make a float, and they had enough people there to be a whole city, and so our family was a part of that.
Reminds me of Green, Texas, it's kind of like that too. The Green Zone, all that, hotels and hardwares and banks and first dance home in Texas.
There we go. All those things. Well, they were really big on education, and the history of the school itself gives you the idea that they had a really big library of books for the kids, and that they brought in great teachers and made sure that the young people were well educated. So that was obvious if you go out and look at that big building that's still sitting out there, and that it was built by the same person who did the courthouse in Fredericksburg, the same architect, and did a whole bunch of famous ones that are in San Antonio as well.
Did you find something about how many people were once there living?
I don't know an actual number of people. Didn't get an actual number. Well, I hope you enjoyed your trip through time. I did. It was fun. I'll play this over and over if you want to, so just go by. I found this in, I think this was here's Harper. Someone asked, why did the McDougalls at Harper speak German? That's like our book, you got a Scottish name and a German accent, right? This is the explanation. A McDougall boy passed through the country with some soldiers, and a pretty little German girl gave the soldiers some hot homemade bread. MacDougall said, when the war is over, I'm coming back to marry that girl. He did, and ever since, the McDougalls, in spite of their name, have spoken German.
Control the family.
Now that's good.
Okay, I think I'm done.
Well, thank you, Wanda.
Let me fix this thing.
Well, I think there weren't more people here to hear that. We have good programs now since Wanda been doing this, and no one comes to listen to it. Anyone have anything else they want to mention or bring up? What am I forgetting, Doug? Anything?
Oh, we have a marriage.
A marriage?
Yeah. Our grandson, Eric Crockett, married Tracy.
You're still looking up.
It was,
Just as Tracy was.
Tracy was
And he is a,
Don't worry, they're out there. Judge.
Tracy Elizabeth Norman.
Norman.
Nobody can remember the Norman.
I had him 3 marriages, 2 were his grandchildren, and then one was one I just attended about a little over a week ago, and that was an Elbach girl. I gave it to him, the information.
I have that. John Wayne Ellibert, son of Dennis and Linda Ellibert, son of Verity Bell McDougall Ellibert, daughter of Benno McDougall, son of William McDougall. Elizabeth Duffy, married June 4th, 205. At the birth, Avery N. Jerica, daughter of Emily and Jerry Jerica. Emily is the daughter of Dennis and Linda Ellebrick, son of Bertie Bell McDougall Ellebrick, daughter of Benno McDougall, son of William McDougall, born June 2nd, 2005. And marriages, and also a descendant of William McDougall. A marriage, Nathan Lambert, son of Dr. Philip, and Sherry Lambert, son of Lawrence Lambert, son of Elke McDougall Lambert, daughter of William McDougall, married Carrie Hammerstrom on March 19, 2005. Marriage, Heather Lambert, daughter of Larry Lambert, son of Lawrence Lambert, son of Elke McDougall Lambert, daughter of William McDougall, married Brian Whitman on July 31st, 2004. That was in Austin, and the previous marriage is in McDougall.
Two things I want to mention. First, I want to thank Gladys, brought the stuffed eggs, deviled eggs.
Thank you.
Love those things. And I want to welcome some special guests, Tom and Marilyn Adams from Brownsville, Texas. Some good friends, Brownsville, not Brownsville, Brownsville, Texas.
That's North Texas, not South.
Thanks for letting us crash your.
Yeah, we really enjoyed the presentation. She said my father was, you might say, a pioneer in that area. And so this is really interesting to me. As I say, I guess that was the last area that was homesteaded. And he homesteaded land in 1902, which would make him, I'm not old enough really, but he was about 50-something years old when I was born. He'd be in 125, 130 years old if he were alive. So my history stretches back to that era.
Thank you, Tom.
And I played football with Charlie Williams, so in college. So that's where that's my connection with McDougall. I don't know why. He never married him, and how this family let him in the back door.
I told y'all he's the greatest teacher I ever had, because I thought I could whip anybody when I got to college. He's a 5-time state Golden Glove boxing champion. He taught me real quick. Yes. And this guy we talked a while ago, I heard, who was that I said I heard? Ira Hurd. Nobody ever heard of Ira Hurd?
Well, that might be some of those.
Sure, some all family heard.
There's a lot of herds all over the state of Texas. There's a street right here in Fredericksburg, we're going to see them today. In Fredericksburg, it's herd. It's spelled exactly the same way.
Let me hit a quick count. I think everybody who's here is from Herman's family almost, right? How many of y'all are here from Herbert? I mean. Herbert.
We were all, biggest part of that.
Plus 3 that left.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then 3 left. That's 11.
We won the prize.
Yeah, you get the prize. And then William? 3.
William McDougall.
3. Then Alonzo's 2, right?
Yeah.
Who are y'all connected with?
Alexander.
Alexander. And then Henry, 1, 2, 3, plus 2 guests. All right, we got to decide what we'll do here, folks. It makes me a little sad to say this, but I can see the handwriting on the wall. This is our 80th consecutive family reunion, and this is the fewest number of people we've ever had. And, I'm just not sure this is going to turn around. Always said we'd keep it going as long as Reginald McDougall kept coming. And he's not here this year, so I don't know what happened to Reginald. Pop, yeah, I we call him Pop. That's what his nickname is, Pop. He always wanted to keep it going. So I assume maybe he's sick or not in good health or something. But I'll entertain any kind of motions if y'all want to suspend having it for a while, like what y'all want to do. I just don't think it's what we want. We want to change the way we do it. But I think the old gathering here together is done. Like I said, I'll entertain the motion to.
English and German, so that's a wisdom. Most of the time, English. My father.
Speak some German so he can hear you speak German.
Speak a little German. Where do you come from? I mean, ancestors.
Ask her a question.
¿Cómo está?
That's from South Texas, Bob.
How are you?
United States.
How are you?
No, so?
How old are you?
No, how are you? Come
How
on.
are you?
Don't even ask me.
You're supposed to speak in German now.
I know.
They want you to speak German.
Actually, ich sag's in Deutsch. Don't nobody can verstehen.
Ich kann es
Du
verstehen.
musst aufpassen.
Ich kann es verstehen. Wie geht es Ihnen heute? Es ist ein guter Tag, ne? Wir sind alle zusammen hier. But I said it's a nice day, we're all together.
She doesn't hear what
I know, she spoke
German before she spoke English.
Is that right?
Me too.
I forgot after, when they all quit speaking and running
Where did you grow up here?
in Cypressville, Johnson City, that area. But my father's family was very German, Polish. So we spoke it, and my grandfather lived with us, so we spoke it till I was 7 years old.
We hear a lot of German out in West Texas where we live now because we have a lot of Mennonite families that have moved in and they all speak German. So we hear a lot of German now in West Texas, out where we live.
They're European descent, but they're Mennonites and they speak German and Spanish. Most of them came from Mexico. They were German and settled in Mexico and have migrated to our area and they started out farm workers, but some of them are very prominent right now. Not many, but a few. We still have, I'm a retired cotton farmer, my son farm, and we have, he has several Mennonites working for him.
The families all speak German. We had some living on our farm, the children all speak German.
Yeah, they grew up speaking, that's their first language.
Well, if you don't lose it, you lose it if you don't use
I started school in 1924 and I couldn't speak any English.
What year?
1924.
24.
We're here in Fredericksburg?
No, in the Seguin area.
Well, could the teacher, was he or she bilingual? Or how did you make it?
Well, yeah,
She could speak German?
Well, I don't know whether she could speak German, but she kind of coached me along with the further reader we had, and I picked it up that way.
You had a good teacher.
I think my teacher could speak German.
We got 2 retired teachers here, and I don't think that's a good one.
Grace Wilbur? Was that your first? Well, she's certainly German. Grace Wilbur was German.
Everybody here can't boost the attendance by then, we'll know. Yeah, since there's enough money in that, getting to do it.
Yeah, we got enough money, and that's why we're not gonna take a collection. We don't have too much in case we do this
Do
thing.
we have phone numbers on family members?
About 9. They're kind of collected incidentally. I never set out to get phone numbers. I don't even have too many of the email.
I mean, we can't even get people here in Fredericksburg people don't even come,
That's the tough. That's, I think, the tough.
I'd like to see that we get if we're going to disband, that we get all the records up to this time, to our 80th. That I know I've contacted some of my cousins, and I'm hoping they're going to reply to me, so we at least can get all the marriages and births and everything until our 80th reunion.
Wanda and Doug has suggested, and I think it's a good idea, that if we quit having meetings, we still stay together as a family on some kind of a website, or computer or something, where we can Update
If you
and-
have addresses, we could physically send out some kind of newsletter.
Get somebody to do that.
If we could.
Wanda probably does, she's gonna want to.
She'll,
Rick will do it.
she will delegate it out to relatives. She does this.
We talked about, with Kent before, to take the start that John Young gave us as being a part of the whole McDougall clan out of Canada, and that we're the Texas branch of that, and to branch off of that to a place that would give us a website with all our past minutes on it. I understand Mildred Zesch has
Yeah, book that thick with all.
like the minutes that she took all the years that she was in, and then the minutes that Doug's taken, so that we could put those in the website, along with our updated history all the time, and our book, what we put into the book so far. And I just got a picture today out of Alex's family that would be an addition to that. And so, you know, I only got just such a small amount. We really can't make a book out of it yet, but perhaps in the future we could. But we could put it on a website that we'd be able to do. So
I like that idea.
maybe that's the thing we ought to do if we know the. If you don't have a computer, maybe your daughter or your son or somebody has a computer, that they've got an email that could keep you in touch. If you would get that to us, that we'd be able to tell you where it is. We go from there.
We need to know your email too.
Okay. I'll write mine down on the book over here. And if everybody will write theirs down as well.
There's an updated, at least sort of up to current addresses that a brief thing could go out for people if they want to submit whatever email or
There we go.
a quickie note. That wouldn't have to be much.
All right.
Was this motion, Tom? I'm moving that we try it one more year, and if it doesn't perk up, we're just going to have a finale.
How much would the city of Fredericksburg charge to put up one of the banners across the street? They got every other one up across the street. They got every festival, everything going on. I've never heard of these people.
One of our relatives is the mayor here, so maybe we'll have some kind of.
Now, we ought to have some pull of some sort, right? But is it possible that we could be flexible on a day or a date that we wouldn't have to have it this particular weekend? We looked into the Tatch House at Lady Bird Johnson Park, which is air conditioned and bigger than this, and pretty cheap too. It was $50, right?
But you book 2 years in advance.
Yeah.
2 years.
But there's still a possibility if you didn't have to have this weekend, that if you could be flexible, you might get last week or next week or something like that.
I mean, I like that idea, and if there's somebody that can go out and do it. My problem is I'm tied up basically when I get back. But, if we could agree to something like that, sounds good to me.
Let's vote on Tom's motion here, try one more year. Got to try.
I was just thinking two MacDougalls are going to miss something if you don't have this meeting. And I'm not even MacDougall.
Yes, you're absolutely right.
We ought to keep it going for 100 years at least.
I think if some of our children and grandchildren will hear that this might be the last one, and they might be getting interested in our company.
Well, what we'll do is we'll send out a letter saying,
I think we ought to make sure everybody in this room talks to all of their family.
Right.
I'd like to tell my sister, I can't even get my nephews and nieces. I try to pressure them, they won't, I don't know, it's not interesting to them. I guess I can understand that.
We've always got some on this particular side, it's more important.
Yeah.
You have to get old before you care.
I think it's true.
Yeah, I think you're right.
That
makes sense.
place out there at Lady Bird Park, that they have a swimming pool
Yes, the swimming pool's right next door and there's a big playground.
Well, we used to have it out there, we had it for years out there.
That was, see, that's good.
The problem is getting it. This is a, you got a call on January 1st, and boy, you better be first in line. And that's tough, because it just goes off the wall.
In fact, we had it at the Tosh House one year.
Did you?
But, you know, it'd be a good idea that all of our McDougall family that plays music, because the McDougalls used to like to dance and do all that, and have them all bring their instruments and they can jam together, and that might be a good entertainment.
You got a whole bunch of them in your family?
I have a grandson that plays the drums, a son that plays the guitar.
Okay.
I have my grandfather's old auto that doesn't do anything, but sit under my bed. It's very old.
Okay, we have a motion.
Right, you still got a grandchild?
Go ahead and vote on
Look at Richard, huh?
it. I'll move that we try it one more year, and if we don't have any better attendance than we had this year, that we take some kind of action to terminate the formal meetings, or formal gatherings. Is there a second to that motion?
A second.
Okay, Wiley and Kurt seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Motion passes. We'll be here one more year. Y'all said something about one. I don't know, that's up to you if you want to.
If you can be flexible, we'll try it for the Tatch House.
We can go ahead, it's only $50. We can go ahead and reserve this, pay our $50. If we want to go somewhere else or something, we can do that. $50 isn't going to break us.
Easy come, easy go.
Yeah. MacDougall.
So Wanda and just Carol look into it and just see if we can look up something else and we'll reserve this place in the meantime.
And if you go ahead and reserve this,
It sounds like a good idea. That way you can be flexible. Gotta be.
and if there are only 10 people there next year, then we won't have that big a problem.
Then we'll all meet at the pool.
Yeah, that's right. I always kind of liked Lakeburg Park. I thought it was nice.
Good
That
park.
time, the pavilion, but like I said, it got to be, I can't remember why we quit.
It was hot.
Hot, I think, heat and windy, yeah, everybody was uncomfortable. Haven't found the perfect place yet. But again, I don't want to be pessimistic, but I think, we had the most perfect place on earth. I really doubt that we can get more people to come. I just think it's a sign of the times. I think it's just people not interested in family reunions so much. A lot of people are interested in family history and genealogy and things like that. As far as getting together, sitting here, visiting, talking, that just may be a thing in the past, kind of like horses and buses.
How about we get a strip club?
That would probably
A male strip club?
cover all bases.
Oh, it's
Tommy, Tommy, Tommy.